if you feel like you're a little, a little bit trapped in your house and you need something to do, cooking is very good. So we're making a little bit of salmon here and asparagus, and we're gonna use some of this rice that we made the other night and kind of like fix it up again. It's reusable. But these asparagus over here, just gonna rinse them off a little quickly over here. You're gonna cook them, so it's already whatever's on here. It's not gonna hurt you. Don't worry about that. But you break these asparagus over here. Wherever they break, that's the tender spots. So that's why we cut them. We break them instead of cutting them. And that's how you find the sweet spot over there. Okay. And we're gonna put them into this boiling water over here. I like a shallow fry pan because they don't need very much. Not too much. We're gonna put them in there. Put the heat on a little bit. Some onions browning over here. And we're gonna get that heat down. Here is some freshly ground turmeric. You just use this smaller one over here to grind that turmeric. Want to see one? Here, I'll show you what it looks like. You gotta find these things from the store. And you try to find the ones that are like big enough and nice and fresh, not shriveled up and brown. And you grate them on this grater in terms of, and they have a lot of, instead of taking like ibuprofen, you could take this. And takes down your swelling, but it's really tasty. And I'm sure it has other magical properties in it too. Put that up there. And we're gonna add our garlic here in a second. So we'll show you here in a minute. The easy way to make the garlic, have a whole clove like this. You just kind of hit it hard on the counter until it breaks up. And then we're gonna crush it a little bit with this knife. Big knife is always better. And you smash it like that. And it brings the oil out better when you get it nice and smashed up like that. That sticky part of the garlic, that's what you want to release into the food. And you don't want to cook the garlic too much. Very important not to cook the garlic too much, because then it gets kind of like a burnt flavor. And it detracts instead of adds. You want it to be nice and spicy. Okay. And remember, when you're chopping here with your chef's knife, it's not up and down. It's like this motion forward so that the power goes down to the bottom of the knife like that. And for this kind of sauteing, that's about enough. If you get a little shell in there for this kind of thing, no big deal. We're gonna add our rice to there in a minute and mix it up. And here we have our asparagus. They'll be done in a second. All right, these asparagus here, you want to see how the color is turning. A little bit light green on the top. That means it's not quite done. However, when they get to this point, if you take them off and drain them off, or you could just hold this spoon over them like this, drain them in there, let that heat off. That amount of heat is going to keep them cooking. So I like to just rinse a little bit of water in there like this. Asparagus, you want to be al dente. And not mushy. If you want a mushy, you can just get a can. And then mushy asparagus are good too, if you like mushy asparagus. So we're gonna add this. This is already some saffron rice. We used it for some Mexican food the other night. And we're gonna add it in here. And loosen it up a bit so we don't have clumps in there yet. Like that. I'm gonna turn the heat on a little bit higher. Mix it in with those onions and that garlic. And that turmeric in there. See that turmeric in there? Okay. It's a kind of fried rice now. Show you this next time. This is some Chilean sea bass that's on a bed of onions and a little turmeric, cilantro stems, because it's a good way to use up the stems of the cilantro. You put the sea bass on top of that with some salt and pepper, some garlic powder, and some onions on the top, and a little bit of the cilantro leaf. You put it in there all in this tin foil, and let it kind of cook in there on the grill. This salmon over here is the same, seasoned with salt and pepper, garlic powder, and we put it in here on some olive oil on the bottom, but on the top you spray the spray oil, whatever kind you want. And important to start with the skin side down first, and that you spray with the oil on the grill. It'll keep it from sticking. 2, 3. Okay. And then later on, we're going to use some of this oil right here just to put on the top a little bit more. We're going to close it up in a second. You want to cook it as much as you can on the skin side first. And then flip it over. We're just going to finish it for like a minute or two on the other side. We're going to close it up. Bye-bye. Okay, you see, this happens every time you cook salmon. You just have to be prepared for it. That's why you can't go inside to, well, there are no sports anymore, so you can't check the sports. But you could get yourself like something else to do in there, and then ruin your fish. That's right. You could see how many more people are infected, and then you ruin your fish. But you gotta stay with it, and that's the good stuff, That's the fat from the salmon that gives you all those omegas in there, and so you gotta embrace that, and make sure you don't burn it up. So stay with it. And you have to move it over on the grill if you're in a hot spot too much. Okay, and that one's done. Got nice color over there. We're gonna close it up again. Oh, here we got some more flames. Now, once you turn it over on the side, here. Gotta get this out of the hot spot over here. You see some of the skin pulls off when you turn it over. That doesn't have any salt on it. So this is not for people with a high blood pressure. So if you got that, don't do this part. Kosher salt, we like that. More flavor. You think salt doesn't have flavor? It has a lot of flavor. And I like this one. Sometimes we use the sea salt, the items. It's the best thing. Kosher salt, you can't go wrong. Okay, I'm going to just put that right over there. And a little bit of this garlic powder. It's like a secret weapon. Not too much, just a little bit. Brings the flavor out. Boom. Okay? Now, just like any cooking, you have to make sure it's done enough, but not too much. You touch that, you can see if it's cooked. See, it's almost there. A little too soft. We're gonna cover it up. Okay, now, you don't have to do this because it's really not for the people who are on the diet, but I like to do it just because when I flip it over, I don't want it to stick again. So we want to finish it off a little bit on this side too. You know, I would do an infomercial if I knew where this came from, but this is like that. Isn't that a nice spatula? It has that curved edge on there. So I like to use it on this side to kind of loosen it up, and then it's curved like that. You can get under it. And then I use this nice big barbecue one. And okay, this is what we're gonna do. Once again, a little bit of this Pam I am on the outside of that part right there, and it gives it a nice presentation when you go to serve it. It looks all nice and golden brown. Put that in there like that. Makes it look good, shiny. There we go. Salmon on the grill.